Say and spell your name for us.
Lieutenant Ryan Shea, RyanShea. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Manchester Police Department.
Okay, what do we got?
At approximately 7:30 p.m. this evening, two members of the Department of Corrections Parole Fugitive Unit went to 181 Oak Street to try to make contact with the family of a suspect who they had an active warrant for. At that time, they made contact with the mother of the suspect. During their interaction, it became apparent that there was a male inside just behind a door to the basement. He yelled out several times. The information that we have from the Department of Corrections Parole Fugitive Unit members is that at some point that male made reference, if they come after me, I'm going to start shooting. The two members of the fugitive unit backed out of the residence, called Manchester Police Department for assistance, and ultimately the Capital Region Emergency Services team was called due to the threat that there could be a firearm possessed by the suspect, and he had barricaded himself in the basement. At some point after Crest arrived and set up a perimeter, negotiations began with that suspect. The suspect agreed to come outside of the residence. When that occurred, there was an officer involved shooting. 4 officers were involved, 2 Manchester officers and 2 officers from other towns as members of Crest. At this time, the suspect was, it is unknown as to my knowledge as to where the suspect was shot, exactly where he was when the shooting occurred, but medical aid was rendered and he was transported to Hartford Hospital, where he succumbed to his wounds and is deceased at this time. No officers were harmed in this incident, and the investigation is being turned over to the Office of the Chief State's Attorney and the Western District Major Crimes.
I heard murder-suicide. Did anybody else in the house get shot or anything?
No, the information that I have is there was nobody else inside the house except for the suspect. The members of that fugitive unit had everybody else exit the residence and were speaking to the other members of the family and other individuals that were in the residence when a perimeter was set up and Crest was called.
Oh, okay, so the mother and everybody got out of the building and the only person that was in there was the guy.
Correct. The information was that the suspect was the only person inside.
And you're confirming that the suspect, the person they were looking for, was the one that was shot?
Yes, I can confirm that the person who was the subject of that warrant from the parole officers was the person shot in this incident.
Okay, and that was his address? He lived there?
181 Oak Street was his mother's address. It is unknown as to whether or not that was the address that he was using or staying at. However, the information from the mother was that he was inside, so they knew that the suspect they were looking for was the one that was barricading themselves.
So did he escape from jail?
Unknown.
Okay.
I don't have any of that information at this time.
What does the DOC fugitive unit do?
So to my knowledge, the DOC parole fugitive unit are the ones that go looking for parole absconders.
Oh, okay.
So he had an active warrant out of that unit, and that's the reason why those officers were there tonight.
Okay. Have you guys ever been to that address before?
181 Oak Street, I'm not privy to the information as to the history there. And at this time, we're not releasing the name of the individual that was involved.
Okay.
Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, anything else?
No, I think that's it.